As the water rises, the evil is vanquished from the lake. Link, you did it. Aruta wanted to thank me? I see. We have to return peace to Hyrule for her sake too, don't we? Look at that, Link. Together, you and Princess Ruto destroyed the evil monster. Once again, the lake is filled with pure water, as it all is as it was here. What's up, adventurers? My name is Platinum Phoenix, and welcome back to Ocarina of Time. Last time, we finally brought the lake back to Hylia by defeating Goop from Ben 10. If you know, you know. And this time, we are going to be going around Lake Hylia and seeing what we can do here now that the lake is actually here. So first up, I actually want to read this plaque. When water fills the lake, shoot for the morning light. So, it's very much not morning now because morning was during the cutscene, which I have to say was very pretty. So we're just gonna do a bit of time shenanigans and make it daytime real quick. Or make it morning real quick, I guess I should say. And as the sun rises, we're gonna do exactly what the plaque said and shoot the sun. So, I don't know about you, but I don't read things in video games when I'm playing them by myself. So, I didn't know that this existed before actually doing research for this game. I knew it was an asset that was in Majora's Mask, where they take a lot of assets from this game. I just didn't know it was in this game because it's not required for anything. But for doing that, we get these fire arrows. Any target it strikes will catch fire. Select your bow and then select it again to open the arrow submenu. Choose the desired type to equip your arrow with powered up arrows. So what it was saying is we can go into our items and basically it gives us this like little box that we can choose which arrow types we actually want to use. When you double tap it. And as you can see, you can use regular arrows, and now we have fire arrows we can use. And the actual icon for the bow switches, depending on which type you want to use. But something else you can actually do on this platform, which I actually really like these pillars. But you can see like these, like little, I'm going to call them like fairy dust, pixie dust, something like that. And Navi's glowing green here. So if we pull out the ocarina and play the sun song again, we actually summon a big fairy. These are basically upgraded fairies in which they will heal both your heart and your magic meter. The only downside to them is one, they are kind of hard to find because they're all hidden around Hyrule, and you have to do very specific things to actually find them. And the other is they cannot be bottled like regular fairies can. So you can't actually carry around any big fairies with you. So you can't actually have any like magic fairies on the go. Which is, like I said, the biggest downside to them. But if you can find them, they are really helpful for actually redoing or healing up your magic meter. Especially with the double magic meter. But as we are going around Lake Hylia, I think we are actually going to go in the exact same order that we did all the way back when we were a child. So first up, I want to talk to the Scarecrow. I am Bonoru, the Scarecrow Gold genius. I hear a song once and I never forget it, baby. So what we need to do is, you may remember that there was another scarecrow that used to live up here that said it wanted to travel, but it's no longer here. And this scarecrow says he remembers every song he's ever heard, and we just so happened played a song to the other scarecrow when we first met him. Mine just so happened to be X, 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 Y, 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 Y. Come on. I know you know the song. Surprise! I am now small. So, apparently I had a mistake in my notes, and I taught that scarecrow up there the song, and not this one. So I actually have to come here. Whoa, you have an ocarina. Why? Hey, why don't you lay a tune on me with it, baby? X, 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 Y, 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 Y. Well, not bad. I will remember it for you anyway. I don't mean I can't remember only 8 notes, but let's just cut it right there for now, baby. So yeah, you have to teach that scarecrow the 8 notes that you want to play, and not the other one, because the other one disappears once you are an adult here. But now I'm just gonna go and become an adult again real quick. Alright, 3rd time's the charm. Will you please listen to my song now? Hey, it's the ocarina. Play that song with it, baby. X, 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 Y, 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 Y. You played the Scarecrow song. Oh yeah, that's it. That's the tune. You rock. I'm blown away. Oh no. I didn't forget the song. I never forget anything. But I just feel like rewarding you, baby. I have a good idea. My buddy Pierre is wandering around, so play that tune when you want to call him. I'll tell him to help you if he's nearby, and here's that song, baby. So, we just learned the Scarecrow song, and we actually get an immediate use for it, because if we walk over here, you can see that Navi flies away, but there's no, pixie dust or fairy dust like there was over on the Fire Arrow platform. So if we pull out the ocarina, we can actually play the Scarecrow song, whatever you made your Scarecrow song. And Pierre will actually appear over there. That's Navi flying around without the fairy dust is basically your notification that you can have Pierre appear. But I also need to bring up that if we pull up the ocarina and go to the song list, the Scarecrow song is not in here. So this is the one and only song in the game that you actually truly have to memorize in order to be able to use. But the good thing about Pierre is that he is a scarecrow, which means he is made out of hay and wood, meaning he makes a pretty good anchor point for your hook shot or long shot, meaning that you can actually get a lot of places that you couldn't before now that you have Pierre and the long shot. But next up, I think I just want to go in here, the fishing pond once again, and talk to you. Hey, mister, I remember you. It's been a long time. How many years has it been? 7 years? What have you been doing all this time? You're my only customer, so I'm almost out of business. Seriously, on top of that, my hair. Never mind. Well, do you want to go fishing? It costs only 20 rupees. Thank you kindly. Here's your rod and lure, young man. Mind the rules and have yourself a good time. Okay, listen up. Walk up to the water's edge and press L to look at a fish. While looking at a fish, you can cast your line with B and press A to break the line. When the lure drops into the water, you can wiggle it with the joystick. If you're a novice, you can also use B. Reel in your lure with A, hold down A and R to reel it in faster. If you feel a hit, press A and down on the joystick to set the hook. After that, reel it in with A. Do you understand? Yes, I do. I'm so generous. I'll let you fish for as long as you want. However, you can keep only one fish. The biggest fish ever caught here was 10 pounds. After you cast, you can change your view with L. Let's fish! So, last time we were here, this fish was a 6-pound fish, and it was caught by the angler. But if we check it now, the biggest fish ever caught in the pond was 10 pounds. The angler, Link. So, now he is showing the last fish we actually caught, which was the 10-pound fish. But we are actually going for a bigger fish this time. And going based off of the trend that we set last time, going from 6 to 10 pounds, you only actually need to catch a fish that is 4 pounds more, meaning 14 pounds. But the biggest fish in this pond is actually 16 pounds, and it's fairly easy to find because it's actually in pretty much the exact same location that the biggest fish was in when we caught it as a child. It's basically right on top of this log, which I missed, so I'm just going to reel in and rearrange. Basically, you want to be as close to it as possible, so you don't have to pull it in as far, but you don't want to be so close that you scare it, because if you scare it, it becomes really hard to actually catch it. But I actually want to talk about some things, because a lot of things have changed now that we are an adult in the fishing pond. Although this first thing is actually something that I didn't go over as a child, but it is something that that you can do as a child. If you are having trouble catching or hooking a fish, there's actually a way to make it easier, and that is just to come here during sunrise or during sunset, and that is because the fish enter what is called a frenzy. Basically, during sunrise or sunset, small fish will be released into the pond, and the bigger fish will actually go after these small fish and try to eat them, making them more likely to actually bite your lure, which is really helpful for some of these big fish, because you can see that this fish is just not wanting to bite. And the only real downside of it is that the small fish are real fish in the pond, so they will also go after your lure if you fish at that time of day. But that is not the only thing. Like I said, you only need a 14-pound fish, but there are bigger fish here, being this 16-pound fish that we are actually going after. And I think it's actually stuck because it's not moving. Can we go over here, please? Come on, fish. Okay. There's more stuff to talk about, but it requires me to actually catch this fish. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just skip ahead until I actually hook this fish, because it is being real annoying. There we go. Finally, it took me like another 3.5 minutes to actually get this thing to hook. I don't know why it was fighting so much. But the next thing I actually want to talk about while reeling this fish in is that new fish will actually appear every time you come back to the fishing pond. Specifically, a fish called the Highland Loach will appear, which is like a eel-like fish. But the only real reason to come here and fish for the Highland Loach is, one, they are pretty rare, so you get the bragging rights of catching a Highland Roach, or Loach, and when you give them to the fishermen, you will get a 50 rupees, a purple rupee. But honestly, I don't think it's worth it, because getting 50 rupees is so much easier elsewhere, that going out of your way to catch a really hard fish to both hook and to reel in is just not worth it, in my opinion. Especially because, one, I just really don't like this fishing minigame. I think it takes too long and the fish fight too much. But like I said, there's just easier ways to get 50 rupees if you really need 50 rupees quickly. Finally! So you may have realized that's not 16 pounds. Yeah, I went after a lesser fish, 15 pounds still, but still. And I'm on the other side of the pond. Basically, this fish is located right here in these reeds. So if you stand, like, literally right here off of the edge of the reeds, you won't scare it, and it's a lot less of a distance that you actually have to reel in the fish, making it a lot easier to actually reel it in and get it back to you, making it so you don't have to fight as hard to actually get it. But Weigh my fish for me. Whoa, that fish is huge. It looks like a new record. It's at least 15 pounds. Seriously? Okay, here's your prize. And for getting at least a 14-pound fish, you get the golden scale. Jump into the water and press A. Now you can dive much deeper than you could before. Yeah, it's kind of weird because you get the silver scale from the Zoras, which makes sense, but why does this guy have a scale? Other than the fact that I guess he's a fisherman? And is there golden fish? But we're just gonna give him his fishing rod back, and I actually want to exit and enter again, because after you catch at least a 14-pound fish and a 10-pound fish as a child, some things change in the fishing pond. So, yes, I want to go fishing. No, you don't need to tell me about everything about fishing again. Yes, I understand. So, the one big thing that has changed now that we have gotten a 10-pound fish and a 14-pound fish, or a 15-pound fish in our case, is that there is a new item that we can get inside of the fishing pond. The only thing is, the thing that I'm looking for changes location every time you enter, and you have to find it before actually going to fish. So we are just going to look around here. There we go. I finally found it. Wow! Is this what I think it is? Astounding! You snagged a sinking lure. What do you want to do with it? Let's use it now. Basically, the sinking lure, when we use it, or when we cast it into the water, it will, of course, sink to the very bottom of the pond, meaning that we can actually hook fish that have been scared or that live in the bottom of the pond now, or in the deepest parts of the pond, because we now have a lure that will actually go down and not just sit at the top of the water, making it a lot easier to actually catch fish that were previously inaccessible. Also, I see a Hylian loach right there. That's really lucky as well. Actually, can we see if we can hook that real quick before I talk about anything else? Right in the middle. And we are just going to... please let go of my lure. Yeah, this is what a Hylian loach looks like. It seems very unbothered by my lure, apparently. But it's cool that it actually showed up. I didn't think it was going to show up immediately after catching the 15-pound fish. But I think we just need to cast, like, right there where it will appear in front of its face. And hopefully... Hello? Do you actually exist, or are you just sitting there? Maybe it's asleep. But the big thing about the sinking lure is that, unfortunately, the fisherman counts it as cheating, so it can't actually be used to get the golden scale or anything else. Even though you need the 14-pound fish to even find the sinking lure, so you wouldn't have to worry about it being used for the golden scale anyway. Also, this fish is having a field day in these like vines in the water. But with the sinking lure, if you catch a fish and you have an empty bottle, the angler will count it as cheating and as an illegal fish, but he will let you keep it, meaning that this is a source of renewable fish if you don't want to go to one of the several other locations. That makes it so much easier to get renewable fish. I know, so helpful. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this fish go because I don't need it for anything. I just wanted to show off the lure. So if you could please get off the line now, I would be very happy. Thank you. Hey, what happened? You lost it. Yeah, I know. But the last thing we can actually do here in the fishing pond is actually I believe there's a sign somewhere. This is the fishing basics. Oh, hold on. It's the rules at the end of the fishing basics I want to read. Rules and regulations. Don't use sinking lures. Well, that's already done. Don't litter. Walk quietly. Don't cast at anyone. Which, don't cast at anyone is actually a new rule as an adult. So what happens if we cast at someone? There we go. Finally, I got it. What? What do you think you're doing? You can actually cast at the fisherman and pull off his hat. Also, I figured out that you can only do this with the regular fishing lore. So I had to exit and enter again to get the regular fishing lore back. And also, you have to be in a very specific or very precise angle and distance from him to actually catch his hat. Because I was standing here for maybe 3 to 5 minutes just casting my line at this guy. But we can talk to him. Hey, what are you doing? I told you not to do that. You're terrible. Seriously. Give me back my hat. We can either give him back his hat, or if you want to be really mean, you can just cast it into the water. Or I believe we can actually just get rid of it in the water somewhere. There we go. What? Why are you doing this to me? What are you thinking? I'm not going to let you get off that easy. You have to pay me 50 rupees fine. A 50 rupee fine. Seriously. And his hat kind of just sinks to the bottom of the pond. It's kind of funny, actually, that you can actually just steal his hat. And if we give him back his fishing rod and leave and come back in, you can see that his hat's still gone. Yeah, he doesn't go and retrieve it. He's just without a hat now. It's one of the littler known details that I could find about the game, and it's just really funny that you could steal this guy's hat. But with that being said, our next and actually final stop in Lake Hylia is over at the Lakeside Laboratory once again. Because if we talk to the old man once again, hello there, son. I'm researching the process of making medicine by mixing Lake Hylia's water with various unusual components. Perhaps you've met the old lady from the potion shop. She is like a student of mine. And he has this, like, water tub back here that has this measuring meter. So let's go ahead and see what happens when we go ahead and dive on in. And we can actually now test just how deep we can go using this gold scale. You can see we can literally go all the way to the bottom of this tank within the 8 seconds that they actually give us to go all the way down. And you may have also heard a chime, so now that we've reached the bottom, let's go ahead and talk to the old man again. You may not have noticed, but I've been watching you. You touched the bottom just now. Fantastic. I'll give this to you. And for touching the bottom of the pond, or pool, we get a piece of hearts, giving us another maximum heart container, bringing us up to 16 hearts. And also, you may be wondering what happens if you cheat and just use the iron boot. So let's go ahead and go down and check. First off, if we turn over here and roll into this crate, there's actually a gold spatula down here that we can target with the long shot and get another gold spatula token. But if we aim with our long shot and turn around, yeah, there's just a image of a shark down here, which I find so funny because if I'm being honest, I'm terrified of sharks and most sea creatures in general. So when I came down here for the first time in the N64 version, I was terrified when I turned around and saw this. It was so scary. It was basically a jump scare, but it's literally just a PNG. It doesn't move or do anything, and it's just a nice little like Easter egg if you decide to come down here with the iron boot. But with that being said, that is basically all there is to do in Lake Hylia. So I think our next point of interest is actually going to be heading back to Kakariko Village, which I know we've been to Kakariko Village a lot, but there is something big there that we actually have to get. And actually, while we are heading back to Kakariko Village, I was curious how often we actually go there, how often I've actually gone there in this adventure. So I went ahead and I looked at the stats of this series, and of the 23 episodes, which this is episode 23, 7 of them we've been in Kakariko Village for at least a little bit. which means we have literally been there for a good chunk of the game. Pretty much, if you take 7 divided by 23, you get 30% that we've been there in this series. And I'm going to say it's actually a little bit lower. It's probably closer to like 23, 24%. But that's still a ton. But it makes a lot of sense when you realize we've been there for at least one episode after every single dungeon in the game, which I find pretty funny. And it just helps to strengthen the, I was going to say allegation, the notion that Kakariko Village is more of a hub town than Castle Town is. But with that being said, we are already almost here, and we just need to run up here up to Kakariko Village. And I don't think Epona is actually allowed in Kakariko Village, unfortunately. So we're just going to hop off, and I actually want to make it daytime real quick. And then we're just going to enter Kakariko Village. Get back, Link. Looks like you're coming around. Link, a terrible thing has happened. The evil shadow spirit has been released. Impa, the leader of Kakariko Village, had sealed the evil shadow at the bottom of the well. But the force of the evil spirit got so strong, the seal of the well broke, and it escaped into the world. I believe Impa has gone to the Shadow Temple to seal it again, but she will be in danger without any help. Link, Impa is one of the 6 sages. Destroy the evil spirit and save Impa. There is an entrance to the Shadow Temple beneath the graveyard behind this village. The only thing I can do for you is teach you the melody that will lead you to the Shadow Temple. This is the melody that will draw you into the infinite darkness that absorbs even time. Listen to this, the Nocturne of Shadow. You have learned the Nocturne of Shadow. Let me take care of the village. I'm counting on you, Link. Alright. Talking about jump scares, I didn't actually know that this cutscene played the first time I played Ocarina of Time. And in fact, I came back here after the water temple because I did the temples in the same order we're doing them now. Because I had 50 Skulltula tokens and I wanted to see what the prize was for having 50 tokens. and the cutscene suddenly played and caught me off guard the first time. But there are actually two requirements that you need to have that cutscene actually play. The first is that you have to complete the 3 elemental temples, being the forest, the fire, and the water temple. It doesn't matter which order you complete them in, but you do have to complete all 3 of them for that cutscene to happen. And the other requirement is that you actually have to enter through the Kakariko, or through the Hyrule Field entrance and not through the Death Mountain entrance, which is kind of an arbitrary requirement, but it is required for it to actually start. But with that being said, I think we are going to end the episode here. So I hope that everyone enjoyed watching. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Next time, we go around Kakariko Village and see if we can find any information on what we need to do next, what that shadow creature is, and pretty much any information we can find. But until then, happy adventuring.